Yeah. Oh, and not even to bury the lead. Can you explain to people exactly what Phoenix is, the benefits of Phoenix, and what it has to do with Zen?
Absolutely. So I'll start with Zen first, and then I'll dovetail into how Phoenix fits in. So Zen is a protocol that's kind of designed to help people understand crypto at a fundamental core level. So the way that Zen works is that you go to the Zen.network website, you mint some tokens, and effectively it works very similar to a gas token. So you mint these Zen tokens and you specify a term, so a duration, how long you want to have your mint go. And at the end, you will receive some Zen tokens. Now, the Zen tokens are kind of tied to the price of gas on whichever chain you're operating on, because you pay gas to mint the tokens. What happens is once you have these Zen tokens, the contract has this mechanism in it called a proof of burn. And what the proof of burn allows you to do is transfer value out of Zen into any other contract with a provable function, like doing it on chain. So in a way that's censorship resistant, no counterparty risk. And what that allows you to do is make something else that is value is tied to the price of Zen. So we were the first team to announce a project that would build and use this proof of burn function. And the reason we were able to identify this early on, outside of the Zen core team, is because I saw the code of how Zen worked very early on.
Mhm.
So the project that we decided to build is an extension of Zen, and it's called Phoenix. And the name Phoenix it rises from the ashes of burn Zen is the quote that we use, right? So what Phoenix does is Phoenix augments the staking ability of the default Zen protocol. So with Zen, you can mint Zen out of thin air, and then Zen has one other feature on it where it allows you to stake your Zen for up to 1,000 days.
Mhm.
What we wanted to do is we wanted to give people that have a longer time horizon a longer staking duration than the 1,000-day default Zen staking amount. So Phoenix allows you to pick a long time horizon, and our time is actually 21 years, to basically lock up effectively your derivative of Zen and have a long staking period and allow you to chill and not have to worry about gas fees and prices, and kind of set this really long time horizon out for having your stakes mature.
Mhm.
Now, inside the concepts of Phoenix, there are lots of pieces in there that are like game theory that we can talk about as we go through. But the real idea behind Phoenix is to extend the staking mechanism of the core Zen protocol to be 21 years, or 7,777 days versus 1,000 days that is in the default protocol of Zen.
Why'd you choose 21 years, by the way? Is it because it's a Fibonacci number or it's just random?
Yeah, we use a lot of like Fibonacci numbers, golden ratios. We use a lot of numbers like that
Oh,
in
yeah.
our system. And I think, from my background, I'm in computer science, and so
Mhm.
lots of these questions when you do coding interviews, they'll ask you to write a little program that calculates all the Fibonacci numbers, and then they'll ask you to write it in another way, and then they'll ask you to optimize it.
Mhm.
So a lot of developers, especially in Silicon Valley, are kind of I don't know. You end up doing a lot of these coding interviews, and you end up seeing the Fibonacci sequence all over the place. So
Over and over again. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it was it's a Fibonacci number, 21 years.
Okay, nice. And also, it's pretty good too compared to, I guess you would say DBZen. DBZen does his own maximum of 55 years, I believe.
Mhm.
And this one is more realistic. Like, let's say that you have kids and you want them to inherit some money. 21 years from now, they're going to become adults finally. And then they're going to actually be able to use the money in a responsible way. Because if you do a max date for 55 years, it might not be that usable to your kids. Maybe to your grandkids will be usable, but the time horizon is maybe too long. But it depends what you desire, right?
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of hedging that you're doing when it comes to doing these stakes, right? Because whichever chain you're staking on, you're also betting that that chain is going to be there in the
Hmm.
time that your stake ends, right?
Hmm.
So you could say, hey, I want to do a 21-year stake, but if you stake it on a chain that's going to be dead in 21 years, then you're not really going to get your value. And it's the same thing for doing a Zen mint or any type of transaction that has some sort of long-term value on that chain. So I think it's up to people to, you're kind of betting with I think what Phoenix will show over time, based on how much value is in it, is the value of this chain, like the long-term viability of the chain, basically, is what that value is going to end up being a proxy for. So it's like a whatever the average stake length is, this basically saying like, hey, I think this chain is going to last about this many more years before it dies out. And chains are going to have to do their work to prove that this chain is valuable or not. And so I think that's what it's going to turn into a proxy for. And so you're really picking your chain, and you're picking the longevity of what you think, how long you think that chain is going to last when you're doing your stakes. And you should think about that when you're doing your stakes as well.
Yeah, speaking of stakes, there's multiple ideas of how to do stakes. I'm personally saying that I'm going to do a ladder stake. I made a video about that actually. Ladder stake is when you you do a stake. Let's say you do 10% of your wealth in 3 months from now, and then you do another 10% 6 months from now, the third 10% 9 months from now. That's why it's called a ladder. But I see that when you're coming out with this protocol, there's like a 3-week cooldown, and then a 13-week cooldown, and then a Phoenix copy mint. It's a little bit complicated. Can you explain what is going on? In fact, let me share the screen. Yeah. So how does this work exactly with the launch and then 3 weeks cooldown? I guess that's what we're going through right now in Ethereum, and then the adoption reward active. What does this all mean?
Yeah, so we have some other images that we've posted that maybe we could share. But effectively, what's happening is that when the contract starts, every time you burn Xen for Phoenix, you as the recipient, you get your Phoenix minted in your wallet, but a copy of that Phoenix goes into a reward pool. So what it does is, let's say you burn 10,000 Xen, and you get 1 Phoenix. 1 Phoenix will show up in your wallet, and 1 Phoenix will be in a credited account that's a reward pool that will be distributed in the future to all of the stakers. Right. So if you have that liquid Phoenix, you're not going to get the copy. You're only going to get that Phoenix that was in that credited account if you actually start a stake. And you have to have your stake go over this reward boundary. Now, what we wanted to do is we wanted to have the staking, we wanted to have this reward be something that happened on like a continual basis, right? So that there's something for people to look forward to. But we didn't want it to be something that happens like every day or every week, right? We don't want people to come back every week, because one of the things that we believe in is this long time horizon. And we don't think that you need to be checking your investment every, day or, couple of hours to see that it's working. So we did it quarterly, which means that 4 times a year, you're going to have this, what we call a reward pool party. Okay. Now, one of the things we wanted to do is we didn't want it to start off and make people wait 13 weeks to see the first one happen, right? So what we did was we shortened it to basically be a 3-week cooldown. So that means before the first one, you've got 3 weeks to basically start your mints. And after 3 weeks, that first reward pool party is going to kick off. So I think the Polygon one is going to happen this weekend. So all of the people that staked in Matic who did their Phoenix stakes, they're going to get their first equity distribution from this reward pool party on this Saturday, whenever the 3-week time is up. So once that happens, all those copies that were minted from the Xenians, or that burn for Phoenix, that all those copies are going to get distributed to all of the stakers. And that's going to happen every 13 weeks for the rest of the protocol. So that's what's happening in that context. And so the protocol lasts forever, right? The protocol lasts forever. It doesn't have like an end date, kind of like Bitcoin has an end date. Yeah. So remember, the value of Phoenix is tied to the value of Xen, and Xen is disinflationary, which means that over the course of 8 years, when you do a Xen mint, you're only going to get 10 Xen a day in 8 years. You're not going to
Mm.
get the 60,000 that you're getting when the protocol started. So
Mm-hmm.
that means that for you to burn Xen to mint Phoenix, it's going to be very, very hard. You're going to have to burn 10,000 Xen. It's not going to be that cheap. It's not going to be that easy. So while the protocol does last forever, over the course of the next 8 years, it's going to be very hard to get Phoenix. It's going to be increasingly difficult. So while the protocol does last forever, most of the yield in 8 years is probably going to be generated by the stakers internal to the system. And it's not going to be from people burning Xen for Phoenix.
Yeah.